What's up everyone, Gids here back again for another TFT video, and this time we're doing AD comps, 5 AD comps that you should learn in order to climb. But anyways, I'm just Master, so if you're higher than Master then get away from here, XD. But not really, but because these are still comps that are pretty good to learn if you have the lines for it. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. 95% of the people watching this video is not subscribed, so it would help a lot. Please help me reach 10k this year. Thank you, help. Okay, first is going to be Scrap again. Well, Scrap is still here, but it's definitely no longer at the top of the leaderboard, so it's not as contested as it was in the last patch. But you should have learned this one from the last patch already because everyone was playing it. So yeah, if you see it, then if you see a line for it, then definitely go for it. It's going to be a little bit expensive to build this one for sure, so you usually want to play this one with whenever you get extra items, components, whatsoever from your augments or econ augments to be able to get to level 8 and roll down for 2-star 4 costs. Okay, so main carries definitely Corki and Echo. Corki's items can be carried by Gangplank early game, and that's actually going to help you win a lot, especially in the early game, because Scrap is actually a win streak composition because you're getting a lot of value from getting free completed items just by getting 2 scrap up to 4 scrap early game. Okay, so this one's pretty strong. So again, it's still just Corki in front wherein he gets to cast early by taking in damage, and then he gets to run to the back and deal a lot of damage from there. Okay, so it's still very simple. It's the same as before. I have some items here. These are just like best in slot items where you have the components as well. So best components usually is just belt because this one's turned into guard breaker, so you don't have to think about anything else. Like it's guaranteed guard breaker. This one's guaranteed Hodge as well for Echo, guaranteed Hodge as well for Rumble, I think. So yeah, these are the best ones. Powder and Trundle, any item actually can just go over to them just for you to get some extra items, completed items to get for your Scrap Shield. Okay, Elise can take leftover tank items, and Vi, you can just TG Vi, but you can also put in any extra items on her. Okay, so that's pretty much it for 6 scrap. If you have a scrap spatula, you can drop Trundle and put it on to, wait, you don't have it here, put it on Elise and give Elise a belt. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for the nuances of this board. This is actually a board that's really good with Infectious Anomaly because almost everyone is dealing damage, right? Everyone here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units are dealing damage to the enemy team. So this is a good board for you to get Infectious Anomaly. If not, just get any AD Anomaly on Corki, any AP Anomaly on Echo or Rumble. That's pretty much it for this comp. Okay? Next one is going to be Smeech. So Smeech carry is still here. It's still actually pretty strong. And I still kind of don't like playing it because I usually die before hitting Smeech 3. Because you actually really need Echo 2 to stabilize with this comp as well. Like Smeech 3 solo carry is not gonna make it, man. It's not gonna make it. But again, it's a very standard comp. You just try to slow roll for Smeech on level 7. Once you hit Smeech 3, try to go level 8, hit Echo 2, and hit Rumble Jinx. Okay, so if you have an Ambusher +1, it can just easily go on to Rumble and you can drop Powder. Easy. So that's the comp. Very easy to build. AP items on Echo, this is actually like best in slot. I don't really like putting scrap item on him because it's not guaranteed, right? If you put a tier in here, it's not actually guaranteed to turn into the item that you want. It can turn into a redemption, can turn into vow. So those items are not good. So I usually just put the scrap item onto Rumble and make a completed item on Echo instead to just guarantee his items over here. Extra items can go to Rumble, Jinx. Tank items just go on to Garen. Anomaly is usually on Smeech. Could also go on to Echo if you have really no choice. Smeech best anomaly, I think, is still Invisibility. Still pretty strong on him. But if not, any AD anomaly is pretty good. Alright. Next one, we have Enforcers. So 8 Enforcers. So this is the only thing that you have to think about. This one, you need a +1 Enforcer for this one to work, and of course Caitlyn. This is pretty gated by Caitlyn, so yeah. Main carries here, of course, Vi and Caitlyn. Twisted Fate is just holding any utility items. You can't really 3-star him in this spot. You also have Loris, who can hold utility items as well if you want to. So yeah, Loris and TF are just utility item holders, and then best holder for the emblem is Ambessa, or you can actually put it on Warwick. Warwick is actually pretty fun with Enforcer emblem. So yeah, if you find the Warwick, definitely consider putting it on him. But usually it's just going to be Ambessa, and if you get items on Ambessa, it's still pretty good. She deals a lot of damage, and of course the Sentinel Emissary bonus that you get from her is pretty good. Items for Vi is usually just BT Titans. Third item is a +1. Any item actually works here. Caitlyn also just AD items like Infinity Edge and Deathblade. Blue buff is usually something that you get in the late game. You don't really build. Don't build blue buff early game, okay? Don't bleed. Don't build it because you're gonna lose. Items early game, you give it to Camille to help you win a few fights. Some Caitlyn items onto Maddie is also gonna help you win fights. Okay? Anomalies, usually it's just Vi or Caitlyn if you get Caitlyn early. Vi, any tank anomaly actually. She's pretty good with tank anomalies because she already does a lot of damage, and especially with 8 Enforcer, you get a lot of damage amp, so you don't really need any damage anomalies onto Vi. It could also be on Ambessa, and best one, of course, as well if you get Caitlyn AD and AD on Caitlyn. But I think I would prioritize any tank anomalies on Vi on this comp. Alright. Next up, we have Nocturne. So Nocturne, again, still here, still pretty good. Only requirement is to have a ranged Nocturne. If you don't have ranged Nocturne, it's going to be hard, but it's still possible to win out, maybe. Probably top 4. Probably top 4. So just give him this and this, right? And you put him in front. Right? So this is what's going to happen if you don't have a range item, which is pretty dangerous for Nocturne because usually just easily gets bursted down if you don't have any ranged item on him. So yeah, definitely play this one if you have a Living Forge or Portable Forge with any artifact that gives you range. You can also 3-star actually Twisted Fate in here for duo carry. If you can't 3-star Twisted Fate, then at least have a 2-star Ambessa to have a duo carry. Okay, so you want to put actually items that can be used by Twisted Fate here that are pretty good on him. So Shojin, and then utility is still Morello, pretty good. And then AP item, okay? And other utility items can just go onto Illaoi over Loris, okay? So this is a Sentinel build instead of Automata. I think Automata really has fallen out of grace and is still not pretty good at all in this patch. So yeah, play around Sentinels for more MR and armor, especially for Nocturne's survivability. Okay? And then lastly, haha, I was able to sneak in Zeri in here, but this Zeri version is actually, I feel like this is much better than the Watcher version, for sure. But Watcher version can also be pretty good as long as you have a Firelight +1. Okay, so of course, ignore Victor here. Victor is just a +1 on level 9 if you get to level 9. But there's a chance that you can get there. The only problem with this comp is that you're contesting Sentinel units from Renata reroll comps. So yeah, whoever hits Rel 3 first between you two is probably going to be top 4 and the other one's gonna be bot 4. So that's the only thing that you have to think about this one. So if you're uncontested or if you are in a good spot to actually get Rel, like with a Starry Night augment or Pandora's Bench, then probably consider this one again. Best in slot really is just Rageblade plus Gunblade. You usually want to get strength training or minimis. I prefer getting minimis. So if you actually get minimis on Zeri, you don't need even Shroud or Shred because she will have her own Shred already, and you can put more or much better tank items onto your frontline. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Like, anomaly is definitely just going to be Zeri. You don't want any frontline anomalies here because your frontline is already pretty good. You need damage. Also, this is Caitlyn right here, but if you can't find Caitlyn, of course, it's just Maddie for some Enforcer. But if you don't want Maddie, of course, you can just go with any, like Kog'Maw or maybe even Twitch. Twitch is actually pretty okay here if you put a Last Whisper on him, right? So if you don't get to have or build Even Shroud, Last Whisper is actually okay and put it on Twitch. Okay, so that's it. That's your 5 AD comps to play Dispatch. So good luck with the grinds, and I'll see you again next time. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, let me know in the comments below. GG's, bye.
You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through.